also, how did you stay sharp, earlier in the playoffs when you weren't on the roster? And then was it a surprise to be put on the World Series roster?
We were in Arizona, throwing live ABs once a week to their guys there, and then, playing catch and trying to stay in it mentally. And it wasn't easy, but, we had guys there that, made it possible and stuff. And so having those guys around really helped.
Second row, you're right, Jack.
Well, like you start this year in another organization, you kind of bounce back and forth over the last couple months. I mean, could you have ever imagined a moment like this when you're going through some of that stuff? Like, do you think about wanting to be ready in case like a situation like this happens, or what did it kind of feel like to have gone through that now and had this kind of night?
Yeah, I don't think I could have ever imagined that this would happen. I mean, at the start of this year, I was still with the A's, and then ended up with the Mariners, and then here, just even that was crazy. And then we were at home, and then, got to go to Toronto, get added, and I was excited for that. And then now, you don't ever expect these things, but, you got to stay in it, mentally and physically, and just in case. And, you never think it's going to be like this crazy, but just being able to stay ready and, help the guys that have worked their butts off for this.
And then Dave told the broadcast, I think during the 16th inning, that he was not going to push you past the 17th. Were you guys having conversations about how long you could go? Did you fight to go back out there? And did like Yamamoto going to the pen change the calculus at all from what you know, or what was that like?
I just said I was going to keep going. Each time I came back in, they're like, how many more? As many as you guys need, And, Freddy hit that home run, so we didn't have to find out. Yama throwing out of the pen on 1 day rest after 9 innings would have been insane, but that's the kind of guy he is. So, he wants it too, and I mean, we all just wanted that so bad, but we did not have to find out.
Far back on your left, Will.
Hey, Will. First off, congratulations. Throughout this year, you're kind of back and forth between AAA and the big league ball club, and someone else referenced it being left off the previous playoff rosters. Could you say that coming into tonight, maybe use that as motivation, or was it just kind of a one inning at a time type of inning?
Yeah, it was 1 inning at a time. I was out there, going one pitch, trying to get each guy out that I faced. It wasn't like I was angry that I was left off. There are other really good pitchers that were added, and originally it was like a little disappointing, but you can't be mad to get added to the World Series roster. And so I wasn't thinking about that. I was more so like, I'm just gonna go out there, do what I can to help all these guys that have worked their butts off.
Fourth row on your right, Julian.
When you look at, obviously, probably right now you're spent, right? And Shohei reached base 9 times, and you look up tomorrow and says, oh, he's your starting pitcher. What thoughts come to your mind about him when you think about that?
He's a freak. I mean, that guy, I don't know how anyone can do what he does, being the best hitter and the best pitcher, in the league. I don't think there's a word to describe it other than he's, the GOAT. But, I mean, just getting to be teammates with him is, a great honor. So, I mean, he's going to go out there and shove tomorrow, and we'll be like, man, he was on base 9 times yesterday, and he's not tired at all. So,
Far back in the middle.